Where you going?
Pick some jalapenos.
What are you picking jalapenos for?
I'm gonna make hot sauce.
Special hot sauce?
My special hot sauce.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cattywampus Acres. It's Jason, and today Hadleigh's running the show, and she is going to make some of her special hot sauce. So recently, Hadleigh started getting interested in making her own hot sauce. This is something I like to dream myself, and if my kids want to dream, I am on board with that. And so she's wanting to see how they turn out. She's made a couple so far, which were absolutely delicious, and we want her to keep rocking with it. So today we're going to take you along with her as she makes some of her jalapeno hot sauce. All right, Hadleigh's going to make some of her jalapeno hot sauce. I love this stuff. It's got great flavor and some good heat. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, we are inside our kitchen and we are going to go ahead and get started. We sterilized these bottles that she's going to put it in. They look like pirate bottles. But we're not building ships in these, we're building deliciousness and heat. And so we're going to make some hot sauce. Hadleigh's going to make some hot sauce, so ready?
Yeah.
What we got to do first?
Okay, so first what you want to do is, I'm going to use 20 jalapenos, and I have 2 garlic cloves here. And first, what you want to do is cut all the stems off of your jalapenos. We also have a few poblano peppers.
Okay, all right. All right, so just these 2 cloves of garlic is what we're using?
Yes, but first, we're going to cut the jalapeno peppers in half. And we're also going to do the same thing with the poblano peppers.
All right. Are you taking the seeds out or leaving the seeds in?
I'm going to end up taking out half the seeds from the peppers. Take out about all the seeds out of half the peppers.
So sort of just to control the heat?
Yes.
Makes sense.
More about flavor than heat for this one.
Makes sense. If you haven't seen our pepper pruning video to see how we get so many stinking peppers every year, why don't you check that out. I'll put a link up in the top corner so you can follow that and see our pepper pruning video. But watch this one because you're going to want to learn about this hot sauce.
So I have all the peppers cut in half. Before I take the seeds out, I'm going to chop up this garlic. Not mince it, but big enough, just small enough so they don't take up too much space.
If you didn't know, actually, if you smash garlic and squeeze and smash it, that is actually what will give garlic a slightly bitter flavor. And so it's always better to slice or chop or mince garlic so you don't get that bitter flavor, because garlic is so delicious and you don't want to ruin that awesomeness.
Now I have a spoon, and I'm just going to take half of the seeds out of all of these peppers. So you go from the end and you just scrape up like so. No seeds. And I'm going to do that to about 20 of the half slices. But if you want your hot sauce to be spicier, you can leave in more of the seeds, or if you want it to be not as spicy, you can take out more. It's up to you.
Hot sauce tips.
So now I have half of the jalapenos have no seeds and half do, and I have my chopped garlic here. Now we're going to set this to the side, and we are going to get the ingredients in our pan started. Now we're going to chop up one of our onions. So I like to use about half of a regular sized onion, but since this is a fair bit smaller, I'm going to use probably the whole thing. Can't hurt. Hot sauce is very forgiving. And I'm going to chop that up about the same that I did with the garlic. So what we're going to do with the onions and what we have with the rest, and when I put the rest of the ingredients in with it, we're going to do what's called sweating the onions, which is basically where you keep it on a medium to low heat. There's so much crying. So sweating an onion is basically where you keep it on a medium to low heat and with some oil, and in this case I'm going to do the garlic as well. And it basically cooks it just enough, not to brown it, but cooks it just enough to get the main amount of like extra water and moisture out in the onions. And then once that'll take a little while, not too long, but it will take a good amount of time. So you just have to be patient and watch it. I have all my onions in the pan, and now I'm going to add my garlic, and I'm going to set my jalapenos to the side. So now I have my onions and my garlic in a pan with medium to low heat, and I'm just using plain vegetable oil. So I'm going to add just a little bit to cover the bottom of the pan and make sure nothing sticks and gets too hot under all the heat. So once we have the oil in, we're going to just mix it a little bit to kind of get all the onions and garlic coated in the oil. And we're going to spread it out evenly on the pan, and we're going to let it heat up until we get little tiny bubbles, and then we're going to stir it and check on it and see how it's doing. So like I said before, when you're sweating the onions, your goal is to remove a good amount of the moisture out of the onions. So the goal is to not overcook the onions. You don't want them to brown just yet. This is probably the most lengthy part of the process, but you just have to watch it and make sure to be patient. When you're making hot sauce, the goal is kind of to make it your own, because every hot sauce you make isn't going to taste the same. You can follow a recipe, or you can follow videos like this one. But basically, you don't want to be afraid to add your own ingredients and kind of make it your own. So you can follow this entire video step by step how I'm doing it, but don't be shy to kind of add your own spices or any like kind of juices. Like some people want to add sugar to make it sweeter, or you can add more peppers if you want it to be spicier. It really just depends on how you prefer your hot sauce to taste. This is at a point when my onions are starting to brown. They were on the pan for about 10 to 15 minutes. Like I said, this is a kind of a lengthy process. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and I'm just going to add some pepper. This is freshly ground pepper, but it doesn't have to be. It's just whatever you prefer. Now that I have all of the different seasonings I want in here, like I said, you can add your own, whatever the flavor you want it to be. This now is a good time to add it in. So I'm just gonna mix that up, and I'm gonna let it cook just for a little bit. Not too long, but just enough to get everything incorporated.
So I guess you could say everybody's getting to know each other in the pan.
Yes. I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. I'm gonna start off with 3/4 cup of vinegar. You can add more or less, it really doesn't matter. It just depends on the taste that you are looking for. Now I'm adding a 1/2 cup of water. And now the moment you've all been waiting for is the jalapenos. Just add all of those in there. Make sure to get the seeds that I saved in there and mix it around a good bit. Just make sure everything is nice and well combined. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt, not too much, but I like my hot sauce salty. So just add a little bit of that in there, and we are good. Now that it is all mixed and well combined, I'm gonna turn up the heat just a little bit, just a little over medium, and I'm going to add a lid, and I'm going to allow it to simmer just for a little bit. How I like to do it is I like to let the fresh jalapenos allow the edges to get a little bit brown, which means they're getting cooked. Not the entire thing, but just the edges, because I like the freshness that the jalapenos give. So we're gonna let that simmer, then I will be right back. I have let all of my jalapenos and onions and things simmer with the lid on, and it's gotten to the point where the edges are nice and brown, and so are the seeds inside. So I'm going to turn off the heat and let it cool just for a little tiny bit. So now I'm going to allow it to cool just enough so that it doesn't burn you to the touch. I'm gonna add a few of my own things in here right now. You can do the same. If you put things in like sugar or something that needs to melt, now is a good time while it is still hot, because it will not do that when it's in the blender.
Secret ingredients.
So now that I have my jalapenos cooling a little bit over here, I'm going to add a couple different things into my blender. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna add about 10 to 15, I believe they're called sprigs of cilantro into my blender. Now I have my cilantro in. I'm going to add some lime juice and some fresh lemon juice. Make sure we don't get any seeds in here. I like to add a good bit just because I enjoy the flavor that it does, but it is up to you. Flavor that it does?
That it gives.
English is hard. All right, I have all of my lemon juice in here, and now I'm gonna add the lime juice. We did not have any fresh limes today, so I'm just gonna use this from the bottle. Now I have all the jalapenos at the temperature I want, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add it to the blender. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to comment down below, leave a like, and subscribe. Now I have a majority of the jalapenos in there, and I'm just going to carefully add in all of my...
Just commit.
Yeah,
you can't do it slow. Just commit or else it'll pour off the side. Yep, just like that. Yep.
Oh. Okay. Make sure I get all of the good onions and garlic in there. Now I'm going to add on the lid and blend it all together. Now that I have a well blended sauce here, now I'm going to pour it into my bottles. As you can see, I'm pouring it in straight with like all the jalapenos in there, chunks and all, I guess. You can strain it out if you want it to be the thin sauce without any like little like bits of jalapenos in there, but I like to keep them in because it adds to the flavor. I let them completely cool before I cap the bottles and store them in the fridge. Because there's no preservatives in this sauce, I'm going to keep it in the refrigerator until I use it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, click the like button and consider subscribing and check out the rest of our homesteading videos. If you have any questions or you want to see more videos like this, feel free to leave a comment.
Make sure you hit the bell down below so you can keep up with everything we're doing here on the farm. And like she said, check out the other videos. We got a whole bunch of cool stuff on here. But hey, this is the 14-year-old who's doing it, man. She's got some good here going, and props. We always support the kids in any ventures they want to do. So hopefully this is something you can do with your kids or you can do at your house. So we will see you next time.
Bye.